In this video, I'm going to summarize all the newest and best tyres for winter driving in both North America and Europe. I am basing this not only on my own range of winter testing, which I'm sure most of you will have seen by now, if not, check out the channel, but also around 40 tests this year from across the world from sources I trust, including ADAC, AutoBuild, Tyre Rack and many more. I have read them all deeply, every single one of them. The big news of 2025 has been the launch of the Michelin CrossClimate 3 and CrossClimate 3 Sport. The CrossClimate 3 naturally replaces the CrossClimate 2 in Europe, and unfortunately for my North American viewers, Michelin have confirmed that the US CrossClimate 2 AW is not due to be replaced for, and I quote, the next several years. That's going to make a lot of people sad, but luckily we'll get onto the CrossClimate 2 AW later. I do think some people looking at the test results of the CrossClimate 3 are going to be a little bit disappointed because it is still weaker in the wet than its key rivals from Bridgestone, Pirelli and Continental, and it's stronger than more than a few winter tyres in the snow, which is a little bit odd for an all-season tyre. This is now the way of the CrossClimate, and the CrossClimate 3 improves the wear significantly, making it now the best premium all-season tyre in wear tests, and based on particulate matter, which is basically how much rubber the tyre emits during its use, one of the best for the environment too. Basically, if you love the CrossClimate 2, you'll be super happy with the CrossClimate 3. The CrossClimate 3 Sport is what a lot of drivers have been asking for. It's a sporty all-season tyre in Europe, which is winter rated. The 3 Sport gives up a little bit of tread life for better wet grip and has been engineered to be subjectively more dynamic, which is great. It still can't quite match a summer tyre in the dry and wet, but it is closer than it's ever been for Europe. And I will be testing the CrossClimate 3 Sport and 3 against the Pilot Sport 5 and others, Pilot Sport 4S, Cup 2, you name it, I'm going to try and do it. So stay tuned. The other new tyre worth noting this year is the Continental CrossClimate 8, which is available in North America and the Nordic parts of Europe. Of the 6 tests it's been in, it's won 5 of them and finished second place in the other, which is a really strong start to its life. Although admittedly it was out at the end of 2024, but don't tell anyone. But you are here for the best of the best tyres, so I'm going to start with Europe and all-season tyres. For a lot of Europe, I actually recommend using an all-season tyre as a winter tyre instead of a winter tyre. Summer tyres are still by far the best in the summer, and in my opinion, while you can use an all-season tyre a year round, which is what they're intended for, even the latest and greatest all-season tyres still are better winter tyres than summer tyres, especially if you're on something high-powered or heavy. The good ones are definitely getting closer to summer tyres every year in the dry and wet, but they're just not there yet. What we do really need in Europe is the US ultra high performance all-season tyre category. Please bring it over, tyre manufacturers. You can do it. Let's talk about it. But anyway, the best in Europe at the moment has to be the Pirelli Cinturato All-Season SF3, Continental AllSeasonContact 2, and the previously mentioned Michelin CrossClimate 3 Sport. The Pirelli is the one to get if outright grip is your goal. The Continental gives up a little bit in the dry, but has better wear. And the Michelin CrossClimate 3 Sport is the one to get if you want to try something a little bit more sporty. And obviously it has that sexy sidewall I've talked about a lot. If you do want to save a little bit of money up front, the new Nokian Season Proof 2 has won all 4 of its tests it's been in. I'm looking forward to seeing some real world reviews of it turn up on the site. And the Vredstein Quatrack range, that's the Quatrack and the Quatrack Pro, they're always solid performers. Plus obviously the Hankook Kinergy 4S2. It's getting old, but it's still doing well in tests and people still love it. If you're in Central Europe and you're in an area where all-season tyres just won't cut it as winter tyres, the Goodyear Ultra Grip Performance 3 is the most proven winter tyre this year. It's appeared in 10 tests with an average finish placement of 2.5. But you can't ignore the Continental Winter Contact TS870, which weirdly hasn't been tested much this year. Odd. But it's been tested 19 times in total, winning over half of the tests it's been in and coming second in pretty much the rest of them. What a tyre. And of course, you've got the Michelin Pilot Alpine 5 and the Pirelli P0 Winter 2 if you want an ultra high performance winter tyre. Those 2 tyres are excellent. Weirdly, the Michelin Alpine 7 hasn't performed great in tests this year, but it does look to be one of the very best winter tyres in snow and has a low energy use if that's your thing. This video is sponsored by me. I've recently launched a huge number of updates on the Tyre Reviews website and built a new tool which analyzes all the test data to tell you, rudimentarily at the moment, what tyres are best for you. Basically, it's this video in an algorithm. I'll link it in the description. Please go check it out and let me know what you think. And while you're there, please review your tyres, whatever they are. It really helps me more than you can imagine. Moving on to the studless friction winter tyres, or as some people call them, snow tyres, These get used in the north of Europe and the Nordics and North America. I've already told you the best of the best this year. It is the Continental CrossClimate 8. It has had pretty much a flawless running test and seems to be the most balanced of the bunch, but it's not the only tyre available to buy in this segment. The Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 is a fan favourite. You've probably heard of it if you've ever shopped in this segment, and for good reason. There has been an update to it this year where the compound seems to have been steered more towards wet grip at the expense of ice grip slightly, but it's still a worthy tyre in this segment. Speaking of fan favourites, the Michelin XI Snow is sadly starting to show its age. And of the 3 tests it's featured in this year, while it has had amazing ice performance, its wet and dry grip is now below the average of the segment. Hopefully there'll be an update to this tyre soon. Finally, I'm going to have to mention the Bridgestone Blizzak WS90. This is a US market only tyre and has a near god level following online where people often call it the very best snow tyre money can buy. I have not tested it myself, so I usually leave it out of these sorts of videos, and Tyre Rack haven't seemed to have tested it for a while either. The only test of it I can find is on Consumer Reports, where they rate it 4th behind the Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5, CrossClimate 7, not the new 8, and behind the XI Snow I just said was getting rather dated, so make of that what you will. Hopefully one day I will test it and find out what all the hype is about. The American all-weather segment is a lot like the European all-season segment, e.g. they are 3-peak mountain snowflake marked, which means, at least in theory, they will have better winter traction than the American all-season segment. In fact, let's be honest here, there are a few US all-season products that do offer reasonable snow performance. The Michelin Defender range springs to mind. However, most of them, they just should be called 3-season tyres. They're not 3-peak marked, they're not that great in severe winter conditions. Anyway, the Michelin CrossClimate 2 AW, which I think probably stands for all weather, which is how we know it's the American version of the CrossClimate 2. It is still the king of the hill for winter, for all-weather winter performance. Does that make sense? However, unlike a few years ago in the US market, there's now some good alternatives. I am a big fan of the Goodyear Assurance Weather Ready 2. While it is a little bit more wet bias instead of snow compared to the CrossClimate 2 AW, its winter performance is still more than enough for areas that don't get a huge amount of severe winter or ice. I live in Salt Lake City in Utah, and I have it on one of my vehicles. But my other vehicle, or one of my other vehicles, is on the CrossClimate 2, so I guess I've got the best of both. The Pirelli Cinturato Weather Active is also proving to be a great tyre, as is the Nokian Remedy WRG5, so you do have some good options. The Pirelli Scorpion Weather Active is also a solid choice in SUV sizes. It always does very well in the Tyre Rack tests. If you drive a truck and can't pry yourself away from that good-looking all-terrain tyre, there are some good options. But even the very best all-terrain tyre is no match for an all-weather tyre or winter tyre when the weather gets really bad. Both I and Tyre Rack have tested all-terrain tyres in the snow recently. Tyre Rack was last year, but we'll call that recently. It came out at the start of this year. For me, the Nokian Outpost NAT was the standout performer as the most rounded tyre on snow and ice overall. It was nice to drive and had solid grip, but I was also surprised by the Mickey Thompson Baja Boss AT. It was a bit of a blunt instrument, but you can't argue with its grip. Interestingly, the BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO3 was one of the best in the snow for me, winning snow traction, but it wasn't great in ice. In Tyre Rack's test, the Bridgestone Jeweler AT Ascent had the best snow grip, but it was a standard low tyre, when a lot of them were LTE rated tyres, which does give the standard low tyre an advantage. SL tyres often have better snow performance than their E-rated or LT rated brothers. The LT-rated Cooper Discoverer Stronghold AT also performed really well in the snow testing. I have a video on that tyre and the Bridgestone coming up soon, so subscribe. One last note, according to Pirelli's own data, the new Scorpion XTM AT should be incredible in the snow, but no one outside of Pirelli has tested it yet, so I can't recommend it right now, although do go buy it and let me know. I'm going to be testing it next year in a full test versus a bunch of competitors, so stay tuned for that as well. Finally, if you must use an all-season tyre, an American all-season tyre in the winter, well, for the ultra-high performance, it's the Michelin Pilot Sport All-Season 4 and, of course, the Continental Extreme Contact DWS 06 Plus. I don't know which is better of the two. They swap places in tests. They're both excellent. The Bridgestone Potenza Sport AS, which is all season, looks to be excellent in the snow, but it's not the best in the dry and wet, which means I'm not rushing to recommend it this year. As I've already said, the Michelin Defender LTX M Plus S2, what a mouthful, is one of the better touring all-season tyres in winter conditions, and the Pirelli Scorpion AS Plus 3 tests well as well. The Continental CrossContact LS25, these are some names, is a well-regarded tyre, although I've not seen this tested recently, but I trust that's a good product too. So this has been my list of the best, but just because I haven't mentioned your favourite tyre, it doesn't mean it's bad. I've just cherry-picked the very best from tests. Let me know in the comments below what you would have liked to see in this list and why. Don't forget to check out the new tyre reviews site functionality, please. It will really help me out. It's linked in the description, and as always, safe motoring.